Hi everyone, I'm Chelsea, your librarian, who's been with you all quarter. I decided I wanted to make a video for you guys. First, so you know that I'm an actual person who's been reviewing your work all quarter, and also just as an alternate way of giving you guys some feedback for this module number 6, which is our last one, believe it or not. I'm not super experienced with webcam videos, so please be kind. I know I probably look a little bit ridiculous at moments, but I still think it'll be fun to do this. So, let's see. I also realized the background behind me is not great. Anyway, module number 6, you guys all did a really great job on module number 6 overall. I really liked the analysis that I saw in all your questions. You guys were actually digging in and really thinking about how to evaluate the source that you chose. And I just want to say I really hope that you guys continue doing that with all of the other sources that you're going to be using, both in your annotated bibliography and then the ones that really contribute to your narrative. So that's just something to keep in mind going forward, is those questions that you were asking as you went through the module and that you were using when you thought about the sources, those are the ones that you want to continue to think about as you look at other sources, both in this class and then going forward in the rest of your classes at Cascadia and also beyond. Okay, so just the main thing I really wanted you guys to know about regarding this module that kind of tripped a few of you up is the question about what is the audience that's being addressed by the author of a particular article for the most part. A few of you did books, but most of you did scholarly articles, and a couple of you did some news articles too, which totally worked. A lot of you said you didn't think that the author was addressing a particular audience. And oftentimes that is actually not true. There's often at least a very primary audience for scholarly articles, which is usually the people who read the journal where it's published. People who read the Journal of International Consumer Marketing are people who have a scholarly or a research interest in that journal. They're not usually the general public. That's not a source that the general public is going to encounter for the most part. So they're not thinking just, hey, anybody could read this when they're writing that. They're thinking, who are my peers and what do they want to know and how am I going to communicate this information to them by writing this article on which I'm basing my research, basing it on my research that I have done. So that's just something to keep in mind as you go forward. Having a good understanding of your audience for a source, it's going to tell you a lot about how you can use that source for your own work. So thinking about where was this item, where was this article published, that can take you a long ways into figuring out how to use it and what the audience was. So keep that in mind. There almost always is an intended audience. If it's a news article, it's not as narrow of an audience, but some of you were analyzing like business articles in the Wall Street Journal, and there's a lot of people who are not actually interested in that. Those are going to be focused for people who have a business interest, and in this case it was about Starbucks. So there's a slightly narrower audience there than general public as well, but maybe not as narrow as with a scholarly article. Let's see, what else did I want to touch on? Keep in mind that for evaluating sources, you often have to be a bit of a detective. There are little clues that you can pick up on to figure out exactly what type of a source this is that you're evaluating. A couple of you happened upon reviews that were published in a different publication, but there was actually either an excerpt of or a review of a different book. So keep that in mind. There can be clues as to that. I left you guys notes in the modules themselves, so please read through those. Those can give you clues going forward. You really do need to sometimes be a detective. If it's a standard scholarly article, then maybe not as much, but just keep that in mind, that it can take a little bit of sleuthing to figure out everything you want to know about a source. Let's see. Oh, and most of you did this, some of you didn't. Be sure to actually Google an author's name. Some of you said, well, I could Google. Make sure you do that. It doesn't usually take very long to actually figure out who an author is, what their credentials are, and it can give you a lot of information about their potential biases, their background, what their research interests are, where they're coming from in terms of how they approach this article that you have in front of you. So it's always a good idea to actually do the Googling. Probably not for every single article or source that you use, but be in the habit of that. Who is this person? Why does their opinion matter? Why does their research matter? That kind of thing. Okay, I think those are the only points that I had to make about this module. I want you guys to know this has been a great experience for me working with you in this class. It's my first time doing an online course as a librarian on my own, and It was fantastic. You guys had great responses to all of the modules. I enjoyed looking through all of your work for each of them. I hope you guys learned something about research and using the library that will continue forward into your other courses. And I will be interested in seeing your responses for research reflection for week 8 that's coming up in a couple weeks. That will not be graded. We're just having you guys give some feedback on what you learned about research during this course, so I look forward to seeing those. I don't intend to be giving feedback on them though. But yeah, that's all. I hope you guys' final projects, narratives, everything go well, and I'll look forward to reading some of them. And have a good weekend at this point. Bye.